me, or do you?
Yep, we could do that to you.
We actually don't even have to. I mean, if we just moderate and this, whatever.
Yeah.
However, whatever works.
Are you just doing a reading, or is Nancy interviewing you, kind of
Well,
thing?
no, this is a panel.
I'm
so
interviewing.
you're asking me stuff. Yeah, no, I'm not reading because I cannot read Amrevet Days on this thing because it's exclusive right now on those platforms. So I can't like give it away here. So we can
All
talk
right,
about it. That's different.
I am admitting all and disabling the waiting room.
Hey, everybody.
And we're recording.
Yep.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Welcome everybody to our, at least on the East Coast, late night
Yep.
after hours content where we're going to talk to Vera about Amrevet Days. So with that said, Vera, tell us all about Amrevet Days.
Well, to those of you who are completely unfamiliar with what this is, right now it is a novel that I've decided to write like out of the blue, which is not the same level as the other YA tag stories, because tag in general is considered young adult, which is just general audience appropriate. Yes, we have some spicy sort of, kind of, bordering on certain things, but everything is more or less appropriate for the general audiences. Well, Amrevet Days is a book that is not appropriate for the general audiences. It is quite explicit and adult 18 and above. So it is not for kids. It is considered, I'm not going to say erotica because it's not really, but it is as close as you can get, rated R and above. So, and what it is, it's a novel about Gwen and Aeson's honeymoon. It's basically the time period right after the last chapter of Survive, but 5 or so years before the epilogue. So it happens right after the end of Survive, when Gwen is she's just pregnant with the baby, the first baby, and they're having their honeymoon, because that's what Amrevet Days is. And I decided, because so many people were just begging to have more of a more intense, more explicit stuff between Gwen and Aeson than what we saw in Survive, because we saw something. We saw their wedding night, but it wasn't like super, But this one is. So if you wanted to see things happen between Gwen and Aeson, taken to the bedroom and everything you can imagine, it's happening there. Now, this book also, not only does it take them on their honeymoon and gives you nice hot scenes between those two people, it also advances the story a little bit. So you are getting hot chapters with bedroom scenes and scenes in various places and various positions, shall we say, but they're also giving you snippets of characters you already know, and kind of building the story to continue onwards into the next actual official tag book, which was going to be the Book of Everything in the original series, because that's the Book of Everything is officially book 5. Now, Amrevet Days is book, if you want to give it a number at all, it's book 4.5. So it's kind of not 4 and it's not 5, but it's sort of in between. But it doesn't, you can't really put it in the same lineup of the series, because again, it's an adult book and you just don't want to, you don't want kids who are reading along, and older kids, because older kids can read Survive. But once they're over 18, then we can say, fine, sure, then you can come back and read Amrevet Days. But it's not required. In other words, you will still know the story in the Book of Everything if you just want to retag the classic standard general audience version. But this kind of enriches things for you. So if you want to go, if you take a deep dive into certain aspects of Gwen and Aeson's life, their intimacy, their interactions together, their bedroom activities, obviously, and that time period, then you want to read this book. And eventually, this is going to be a big, full-size novel with events happening, and you will meet familiar characters such as, for example, you get to meet, you already met the Farikon of New Deshret and his court and some of his family. So you will take that deep dive. You will see Princess Shaolat Heru, which is the heir. She's his heir to the New Deshret throne. So you will meet her again. And she was one of the people in Survive who was participating in the mission. She was in the moon mission, the Astoktadra moon mission, and the final, solar system, the Hell system mission. So she was one of the five, the 6 Logos voices. Now, you will also get Rumayar Heru, which is the, if you've read the novellas, the Aeson Blue and Aeson Black, you will find out who he is. He's a Astra Daimon who was very important to Aeson. So, and he shows up again in here because he's from New Deshret. So that's one. And you will get some other interesting here. We just had a surprise in there at the very last chapter I posted. An Earth character appears, or you will hear about them, who you have not thought that you will ever hear from before. So there are things going on, and this will tie into the book of everything. And in the meantime, you cannot find this Amrevet Days. You're not going to see it published for quite a while, but you can read it exclusively on my 2 platforms, the subscription platforms, Ream and Patreon. Those are the 2 places you can get them. So it's available exclusively to subscribers because it's that kind of thing. It's not even it's not a general audience book anyway. So it's kind of like, it makes sense.
I will add right here, Vera, as far as the Ream and Patreon to get Amrevet Days.
Yeah.
You do have to be at least at the 2nd tier. The
Right.
first tier is for, we're going to say, the young adult category, which is the same as all
General
the other.
audience. I'd say call it general audience tier because it's like rated G,
Rated G.
PG-13. PG-13 because, Survive is kind of PG-13. It's not gonna.
But as far as Amrevet Days, it is in the 2nd tier and above. So if you want to read that, it does cost you a little bit more instead of $3.
It's $6 instead of $3. So it's not a big deal. And it is, I know that for some people they can't afford anything. So I do not blame anybody who doesn't want to deal with this. But if you can, it's there for you. And I hope you enjoy it because eventually, as all of my novels, I do plan to get it published, but it's not going to be, it's not a well. And I'm taking my time because that's what it is. It's a subscription novel. It's a thing that you're just going to see for a while under the locked platforms, shall we say.
Well, and I would add is, I want to ask this question because you are revealing a few nuggets. Okay. We learned, and I'm going to give spoilers, but without telling the names. We find out who is the new SPC commander.
Oh, that's right. That is correct. I forgot. I forgot that I revealed, because at the end, remember at the end of Survive,
we also
Aeson resigned. Aeson resigned as the SPC, the Star Pilot Corps. He resigned as the commander, and we have a new commander. Can you find out who that is?
We find a little bit more about the personal life of Vera Heru.
That's right. That's right.
All we had seen was this crotchety old man, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it like that because that's just the way he acted,
Yes,
and
that's what it is. Exactly.
during Survive, that's the way, those were his interactions. But we learned that he's not really like that. He just didn't like Ramatot, and so he was going to give him trouble every chance he got.
He was very crotchety intentionally because he was not happy with the way the leader of his, this other rival country was behaving, and with good reason, because Rome Huett
No,
was not
I'm
being a
going
good.
to say, he probably liked Aeson's grandfather, and they're probably of a similar age.
That's right. They're
And-
peers. They're more of peers. Yeah.
And we find out that he just absolutely loves Gwen. I mean, he gives her a very special name. Oh, you have to read it to find out what that very special name is. But I don't think anyone has been called that probably in over almost 10,000 years. And
there's all kinds of fun nuggets that you will get with Amrevet Days. But again, it's a deep dive, because it's one of those novels. It's not like an exciting plot continuation of Survivor, major things happen. No, it's an intimate family thing. And yeah, you get to also hear about George and, so family stuff, relationships, and just kind of almost like a relax. It's a cozy book in many ways. You've heard the term for cozy mysteries and even cozy romances. Now that's a thing. Cozy fantasy.
Now I will ask this: if someone does not like the spice, would they still understand things that are going to happen in the Book of Everything and Starlight if they choose not to read Amrevet Days?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It is the answer is yes, they will, but they will not get some of the deep dive to give you. In other words, the events that might be mentioned later were really shown in this book. So it's kind of like having a summary, like a third party summarized to you something that happened, as opposed to you having seen it happen. So that's what you're gonna get. But yeah, because otherwise, what's the point of a book, right?
Well, that's true.
Exactly.
I also noticed in the last chapter of Amrevet Days, so far, all of the books, with the exception of the two novellas in Aeson's point of view, everything has been in Gwen's point of view.
Mhm.
However, the last chapter of Amrevet Days was in Aeson's point of view.
Surprise! I really had a good time, because I knew you guys were going to be surprised, because I promised. That's one thing. I did a poll before. I did a poll on Patreon asking, do you think, should we have any Aeson point of view chapters or not? And we kind of decided that a few now and then, just to pop up here and there. So the first time it popped up was in the last chapter. So we have Aeson's first time, sexy time point of view with Gwen. So, you got some good stuff there.
And one of the things that I have to more or less admire or appreciate with Aeson is because of his relationship with his father and the type of person his father was. This is probably the first time he's ever felt free enough to write down his thoughts.
Yeah, that's right. Because to keep a diary of any sort, because the idea behind Amrevet Days, it is a Gwen's diary, and then here and there it's Aeson's diary too. But to do that, Aeson would have had to risk everything, because he could not give his thoughts away. As a child, growing up as a young man, he was always watched. It was a given. He knew that his father knew everything. So he would never have written anything down. But here, for the first time, that's a great point. For the first time, he was relaxed enough to know that he can write down his true thoughts, his true feelings, and not be like punished for it or given a horrible guilt trip or something terrible.
And if I recall correctly, it says, "My wife doesn't know I'm doing this."
That's right. At least for now. She may find out eventually. Just like he find out that she's doing something. Because you can't keep that away for long.
One of the other things that I've kind of thought in Amrevet Days would probably be the ideal platform for it was when Aeson and Gwen, forgive me for using a Star Trek term, but they mind melded with the help of the Pegasi.
Right.
And they still have residual things happening between them, which only
Right.
enhance the relationship. But it seemed to kind of free, especially Asen, because he was so closed-minded about he was so afraid.
Well, he was fixed. He was like not allowing himself anything. So he was fixed in this kind of like protective, like a self-protective bubble. Or, yep.
And now he's able to we do also learn there's a very, very important character that is brand new that is introduced in Amrevet Days. And I think if you don't read Amrevet Days, you're going to wonder, where did this character come from?
Yeah, there's a quite a few things that are new. They're introduced there. They will kind of be carried over into the book of everything, but this is where they're really explored in depth.
I still think they need a dog. I mean, I'm sorry, I've got dogs and cats, but I still think they need a dog.
We shall
Now,
see. We shall see.
I know. Is it difficult, Vera, to write spicy scenes?
It can be in some ways difficult, and in some ways it's sort of liberating, because when I was writing the original tag series, I had to constrain certain things, because things are happening between characters, but if you start getting if you show too much, it becomes an adult book and it's no longer just a general audience book. So in some ways that type of thing is more difficult to keep it under this rigid kind of line where you don't talk about things and parts and body things. But when you write that kind of intense, sexy stuff, yes, it's a little bit, it's like, is it embarrassing? But, it's also just interesting. So you're writing this true, interesting love relationship between two people who are soulmates, they're married, so there's nothing shameful about the fact that they love each other. So in that sense, it's perfectly good. And I don't write dark romance. Now you may be familiar with a new genre that's out there. It's all over. Very, very dark romantic. Usually it's fantasy. So it's like romantic fantasy with like really dark kind of abusive stuff and horrible, things that are done to women that are derogatory and non-consensual. And no, rest assured that I don't write that. This is not what I do in these books. This is completely nice, normal relationship stuff between two loving people. So there's none of the dark stuff. So do not, if you're coming here to find, Gwen being subjected to horrible things by Asa, no, you're not going to find that here. So
The only things
no trigger warnings needed. This is all, decent stuff.
I mean, Gwen was bullied but the one person who would never bully her is Asen.
Oh gosh, yes, I know.
But
romance.
I have noticed the ease of which he seems to be slipping into using the compelling voice.
Okay, there were some places where the thing about the compelling voice is it's kind of like, just like the Logos voice is a voice of intensity, the compelling voice is also it's an emotion-based thing. So if you're on the edge of really powerful emotions, you can slip up without meaning to. So there were times when he could have crossed the line, if you want to say it in that sense. But it was never anything bad. He wasn't doing any kind of compelling for the bad reasons. So
no, he was just trying to get his way, and she knew it. She's going to do it anyway. But the nice thing about their relationship is the fact that it's honest.
Yeah.
Yes, Asen is very overprotective. Yes, Asen is very controlling. But Gwen calls him on his crap.
Well, Gwen can, if she doesn't want to be controlled in that way, she will not let it continue. So it's basically a mutual thing. When she's fine with it, she's fine with it. If she's not, No, Gwen will not take, she will not be dominated in that sense as you would have maybe, like I said, dark romance or anything like that. That's not Gwen. She will not, she's not the type of personality even that who would be interested in that type of relationship. So, you know, it's an equal power relationship. These two people love each other and they treat each other as equals with nobody ever assuming. And whenever Asen feels protective, it's more like he's just afraid for her getting, you know, hurt or something terrible happening to her. So it's always for a good reason. And it's like he will, if Gwen tells him to back off, he will. So it's never something where he would say no, you know, he will never override her consent, basically.
Wait, he's tried in the past, and she's always called him on it. But no, I'm going to do it my way, and I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to do it anyway. So you just go away and, you know, leave me alone. I'm a real person, and yes, I understand you don't want me to do this. You didn't want her to open games. However, going into the games is what made her the popular Debbie goddess.
Well,
Without going into the games, she
Right.
would not have been, I mean, that revealed to the entire populace of Atlantis, that, yeah, I know, that she was definitely worthy of him.
Well, we had to have the story, basically. We had to have her going to the games, so otherwise there wouldn't have been win. So that was important for the story. Yeah, in this case, what we're doing here is we're showing their love, and of course we're getting very sexy. We're going different positions, different things, and in this case, Gwen is pregnant. So we're actually showing things with a person who is pregnant, and if that's something you don't mind, then you're gonna really like this. So, and things get interesting when you're being careful, or you know, just when they're trying to not do anything that may harm the baby or, you know, and jeopardize anything for the baby. So it's interesting positions.
Yeah, they do some interesting things to each other. I mean, they went from, too. I mean, they do have a very, not only do they have, you know, their love is on a higher plane, intellectually, but they're also very physical.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is probably the Cassiopeia libido.
That's true. That is true. Plus, they're hot for each other, shall we say? And it's their honeymoon. They've only been together for a few months, so it's not like they've been years and years together and things have paled. Not saying that.
I mean, you know, they've known each other for a year and a half, basically. Yeah. They've been having this smoldering, you know, love, you know, the forbidden smoldering, and is it requited, is it not? Okay, you know, such that you've got all the sexual, you've got the slow burn and the sexual tension, and now it's okay, well, you know what, we can do whatever we want now, so let's do it.
One of the other in different places, let's try it in the water, let's try it in the
yeah, let's walk around naked, you know.
That's right.
Have a picnic. Okay, well, we gotta go do this so that the staff can come in and change the sheets again. How many times today did they change the sheet?
That's kind of like a little running joke for them. But in this coming chapter, the one that you're going to see next they're going to the Chicken Sea. Finally, the Chicken Sea will be.
I just remembered when you were first doing the map and you got all these, and we're said, okay, well, this looks like this and this looks like that. When I remember seeing Chicken Sea, and I said, well, that looks like a dinosaur to me, and goes, no, that's chicken. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, okay, that's fine. And then you said there would be a story about the Chicken Sea, and Kathleen just mentioned in the chat that, and they're very young, so they need to try all sorts of things.
The Chicken Sea thing is it's like Easter egg I talked about, and it's also the fact that we have it was supposed to have been in the books, but it never ended up in the books. So I'm making up for lost time putting the chicken scene in here. So you are finally going to see the chicken scene. You will watch. There will be a really interesting, sexy, hot scene near the chicken scene. So
Are there gonna be chickens?
no,
I
because
just, you know,
oh,
it just reminded me of, you know, Dawn's comment, you know, she wanted to be a civilian and
that's right. To
raise
raise,
chickens,
yeah,
raise
yeah.
chickens. All right, now, on Patreon, you have polls. How much do those reader polls affect the direction of the story?
Good question. They certainly do, because what I do is anytime I want reader participation, I literally ask for it there. Because this story is something that originated as uh, something that people really, really wanted to see anyway. It's something that you guys were asking for. You wanted to see Gwen and Nathan's, loving interactions. So because of that, let's see what else you want with it. Like, so I would give you polls, and I have done that already multiple times. And I said, do you want them in this scenario or that scenario? Versus like, do you want them doing in the water on the, in this area of the world of Atlantis, on this country or whatever. So, and I had people voted down, and I said, okay, fine. So we landed in New Deshret. That's where we're going next. Now, the people, I'm trying to think, was it the chicken scene may have been on one of the things, but I knew I had to include it. So this is, you're getting the chicken scene next. We've done New Deshret, and we're going to go all around the planet, by the way. So they're going to be in every interesting area of the globe. So look on your map,
Well, and
the two maps, you're going to see a lot of places. You will learn what Atlantis is like by having Gwen and Asen go and do the hot stuff in those areas. It's a travel.
they're at it again. Okay, you know. Well, I wanted to invite them to dinner. Well, to day a meal, but they're in their quarters again, and the door's locked, and I hear noises.
That's right.
Now I will also say that as far as progressing the story, that we're also seeing Asen's respect, whereas he wanted to show her certain items, certain places in New Deshret so that she could see them in
Yeah.
person. She had only seen them on video, yet she declined. And she's okay, well, that's fine. We'll go some other time.
Right. Yeah, that was when she didn't want to see that certain site, is because of the
Yeah,
the
well, I mean,
difficult
we know,
events in Survive. So she did not want to return to the, to
you know,
that.
he originally wanted to take her on a galaxy tour, and
Right.
she's no. I'm not comfortable with that. Okay, that's fine. We'll go do something else.
And also, if you recall, either in Win or Survive, now I can't remember. I think it was first in Win. He promised her the tour of all the space stations. And in the very beginning of Amrevet days, it's a little spoiler here, but Gwen doesn't want to do that because a lot of the stations had been bombed and destroyed during the war, the alien war, remember? So it's sad. She does not want to get off planet and do these things now, at least. And maybe
Well,
when they're rebuilt later.
it's the
But
fact that she was stranded
yes,
in space and almost died.
exactly. She has had enough of that stuff to last her a lifetime.
And so, no, I'm fine staying on the ground. I don't need to go somewhere. I mean, that's kind of a trauma thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They're flying around the globe. So they are flying. It's not like she can't fly anymore, but she is, they're basically like low hovering around cities and just, coming down, walking, going out sightseeing, going back on their ship, and just, it's a luxury yacht, basically. It's a luxury air yacht type of thing. It's called the Nubu Depet. Depet means boat in Atlantean. So they're on this luxury, fancy schmancy boat with all the amenities and servants and fun things, and
doctors.
Yes, doctors, of course, and because she is pregnant, and Asen said we're not going anywhere without you having medical assistance, just in case. So
Well, and their guards, and so 2R is with them.
yes. Tuar, that's right. Tuar, her bodyguard is on the trip.
Yeah, I mean, he's head of her personal security, so
Yep.
wherever they go, he's got to go too.
Exactly. So yep.
I'm sure he feels like a
Material.
fifth wheel. Oh, you're at it again. Okay, well, I'll go take a walk. He's the one that would say that, they're at it again.
Well, no, he would be quite polite. He would never say anything. He may think things, but
He may think it, but
would
he's
never-
you
he would
know
never
what?
draw the line. He's a polite
She's happy, and if she's happy, I'm happy. Because he has so much respect for her. Everyone does, almost.
That's right.
I'm sure there's a few that won't. Now I'm going to open it up. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Vera directly? Just type it in chat. And we can certainly talk about it. I mean, Vera and I can talk about Amrevet days for quite some time.
There's lots of juicy
We
stuff.
can always, I mean, we've talked, about several different things. So does anybody have any things that they would like to know? Anybody?
Bueller.
All right. Kathleen Smith would like to know how much of the story is already written.
I am trying to recall. I think we have 8 chapters somewhere.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. So that's how much is posted. Now I've started on the next one, but until it's done, I don't post partial chapters. I just give you the whole chapter. So yeah, and we can anticipate this book to be quite big, just as big as any other. So it's approximately like 1/10 of the way there.
All right. Harriet would like to know how far along is Gwen in her pregnancy? She's about 5 months?
About 5. And again, because it's hard to translate, we're talking about Atlantean months. So it's kind of like she's not 5 Atlantean. That would be, no. So
No, that would be just about full term.
right. So she's approximately the equivalent of Earth 5 months. So whatever that is, they're like second month or second or third, somewhere in there.
Yeah, she's either in the first trimester or the very beginning of the second trimester.
She's no longer having the vomiting, the nausea. What do you call it? Morning sickness.
Morning sickness.
So she's past that, and now she's interested in sex again. So she's happy to do it with her love.
Okay. Courtney has a question. She said the end of 4, which is survived, had Earth wanting their art and relics back. Amrevet Days refers to some of these things still being on Atlantis. Will we see how this is resolved with Earth in this book or in book 5, which I'm assuming you're meaning the book of everything? Courtney?
Yeah, it can't be resolved here yet because this is just not focused. There may be some elements of that. You will hear from maybe, complaints from Earth authorities, but if anything, it will be probably resolved in the book of everything. Because it's much too complicated just to be and to resolve that is like a lot of diplomacy and some time. They need time to figure it out.
Okay, Harriet has a question, but she said it's not so much about Amrevet Days. You still want to tackle it?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Harriet. Does Asen keep his father's advisors?
That's a good question. And a lot of this will be revealed in the book of everything, because this is, again, it's a transition, just like getting Earth's artifacts takes a while, making any reforms like that, reshuffling them. He will likely keep things, people who are in positions that are kind of like permanent, they're official, they have been, you know, elected there, but anything that's like an appointed position, he may reshuffle things. So he may get rid of certain people. But for now, we can assume that this is not going to be covered in this book yet. This is not that type of book.
Okay, Kathleen has the question. How long is their honeymoon period in months?
It's supposed to be half a year, approximately 8 months, I believe.
Oh, I thought they started at 8 months, but it wasn't. But the honeymoon itself was like a month or two?
I don't think it is. I think the way I've described it may have been kind of weirdly. It can start somewhere around 8 months, but it can go multiple months. So however long it takes, I think until like if they have a baby, that may be definitely the end.
Okay, that's her next question. So will she have the baby while they're still on their trip?
It's quite possible.
In other words, she hasn't figured it out yet.
That may be the end of this book. So when the first baby
Well, that
comes,
would definitely end a honeymoon.
yes, that's the honeymoon. Bye bye. Hello, sleepless nights and stress and baby worries and
Well, they've
So I
already
think
got the sleepless nights, but it's sleepless because of another reason.
right. They're sleepless because they're having too much fun at night. But there will be like, worried about the baby and crying baby and this baby. And yes, they will have helpers and nannies and everything. But knowing Gwen and how Asen is so like, oh no, he'll be much too worried to not worry. He'll be much too responsible not to worry about his own child. So between the two of them, there will be stress.
Well, I think she will want to be more hands-on because her mother was hands-on. So
Yeah. And she just, it's like a happy time for them. They love their kids, and Asen has always wanted to have kids. I mean,
okay, now Harriet has a question. Will we learn in this book if Gwen does the ritual to have the Cassiopeia traits?
Okay, no, that's actually going to happen in the Book of Everything. So the
Okay.
ritual you will find out all the results of everybody's rituals, because this book will end with the first pregnancy coming to term, like the baby being born, but that's it, because that's the end of the honeymoon, because that's Amrevet days is literally the honeymoon. But
so we're not going to know if it's got the blonde hair and then whatever.
It'll be born, and it's like it could be however it's born, because remember, genetically speaking, Cassiopeia can kind of like sometimes it'll naturally happen or not, but to assure it be permanently, so they have to have the ritual. So if the baby is born with a certain shade of hair or not, we may or may not find out. Maybe the baby is born bald. I haven't decided that yet. So I'll see how we don't know. The baby's gonna be
well,
born.
I will say that
Right.
that little baby Kobe, which is my brand new great nephew, he came out with a full head of dark hair.
Oh, that's good. See, there we go. Maybe the little girl will come out with dark hair, and then maybe they'll have a ritual. Maybe not. We'll see.
Or maybe it starts out dark and it turns golden with the second ritual, because they have one when
Right. What happens is if she's born with dark hair and they decide to have a ritual, it will become gold. So baby's hair will transition to whatever
if I recall correctly, the way he described it, they do one whilst she's pregnant, and then they do another one after the baby's born.
I think the pregnant part is going to be a little bit later. So if anything, we may find out some things about it, but I don't want to give this away to you guys yet. This is something that I have not decided firmly whether or not this is the book you will get it in, or if it's going to be the Book of Everything. So that's still up in the air. Question mark for this book, whether or not you will know this.
Personally, I hope they do, because of the enhanced health, strength, not so much the physical.
Let me just say that there's a very good chance that the first baby will be enhanced, because the way this works is they want the heir, and the tradition dictates they want that specific Cassiopeia heir. Now, they may relax their whatever requirements later on with the next kid and the twins and so on. But it's very likely that she's going to have that enhancement. So, but no promises yet. No promises.
Well, that's something that, I've learned in knowing you for so long is, if you're certain about certain things and you don't want me to know, I'm not going to know because you won't tell me.
Well, I
You're
can't tell you guys. If one thing is, I don't want to give people spoilers for certain things because it literally ruins the fun. If you find out too early about something, there won't be that nice, fun surprise moment of wow, this is cool. So it's just for your own sake. Like, believe me, I don't mind. I can give you the whole freaking plot of everything. But what's the fun in that? You want reading the story is part of the fun. Is that first read? Because when people reread books, that's a different experience.
As a wise man said, the journey when you're on the journey of life, it's not the destination, it's the journey that counts. Right. So it's the things you pass along the way to get to that final destination.
Yeah.
The same thing with a book. We know that this is going to happen at the end, but how we get there is what makes it fun.
Right. That's the most important part, and it's the fun part because there are plenty of surprises in the journey itself. So, yeah, the destination.
Kathleen has a question. When will the storyline pick up for the Book of Everything?
It's basically going to be kind of right after the epilogue. The epilogue is when she has screaming babies. She's about to remember she starts writing the Book of Everything. So it kind of flows right directly into the actual Book of Everything. So yeah, pretty
so
close
about
to
five,
that.
So about 5 years after.
Yeah, in that moment when she already has the 5 kids.
Okay.
The screaming the screaming bundle of joy and the twins and all. Yeah.
Yes, the twin boys.
And this may have been a spoiler I already gave to everyone earlier, but in the Book of Everything is a big wedding. Okay, there'll be some other characters are getting married. It's a big wedding, and I'm not telling you whose wedding it is. So, but get ready for another huge
trust me, folks, I've tried to get this out of her and she's not budging. She won't even tell me.
No, you won't. It's more fun when you don't know. So you will find out when it happens. So in the book
we've tried. Okay, if we guess, will you tell us? Nope.
It's more fun when you don't know, when you read it. And there's always a little reason for everything. And there's reasons for why it took so long for certain things or not. And yeah, so you will have big, interesting wedding things. And there's a lot of possibilities because think about it, there's a lot of characters who could be getting hitched at that point.
Well, but then again, if it's 5 years later, there's quite a few of them that aren't going to wait that long.
Yeah, some of them are already probably married and having their own bundles of screaming joy.
I mean, I've always pictured Gwen and Oala comparing their baby bumps at the same time.
No comment. I don't know. No comment.
I'm not talking about with baby Margot, but I'm talking about one in the future. Comparing baby bumps.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But we shall find out.
And Kathleen is saying you said the word weddings and not just wedding.
No, I said there are possible weddings for so many characters because there are many characters who are in that potential situation. So yeah. But I didn't say there will be many weddings. I said there are possible weddings. So you're not getting it. Don't ever try. Don't ever try. But it shall be fun.
It sounds like you're having way too much fun, Vera.
Oh my God. But don't forget that this is just the book of everything is sort of like the fun book, of kind of a happy fun book. Yes, there's actual plot stuff happening, but there's nothing like Earth is going to be blown up type of situation where they're sad and stressed and trying to survive their everything.
Well, if Earth gets blown up, it'll be because Earth blows themselves up out of their
It's
stupidity.
because they were trying so hard to get those the artifacts. No.
Well, or well, we want this. We want this. How many times do I have to say the word no? And how many languages do you want me to say it in?
What mask of Tutankhamun? We don't know about any. No,
We
it'll
didn't
be
lose
fun.
it.
Huh?
So we didn't lose it. It wasn't in our inventory. We didn't even take it.
I know.
I mean, those are kind of the silly things. The Museum Wars was another silly thing.
But no, the book of everything is it's kind of a happy, fun book with lots of plenty of twists and turns, but nothing, it's not a book where you're gonna go, oh my God, are they gonna live? It's like, no, we've had this, the survive arc was good enough. But there's some other things that may show up, which will be quite interesting. So there will be interesting developments at the end of the book of everything, because the book of everything is not the end of the Atlantis Grail cycle.
I think I know what is. You told me
Yes.
what was
Yes, there's
the end of the book of everything, so I can't.
yeah,
I
we can't go there because there's actually something. Yeah, so it's very twisty and turny.
I don't know how you get to that point, but I know what that point is.
Yeah, but you shall get to that point, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's what that is."
Or as I'm reading, okay, now when am I going to get to see so and so, and because I know certain things are going to happen.
That's why you have to start reading the prequel series, because the prequel series ties in with everything. So you got a lot of things happening in there, and it's like a huge universe opening up, the ancient universe, the futuristic, and stuff. And then there's the 60 times Nations, like the insert book. So the ancient book, the modern books, and then there's that little extra book.
Well, okay, now Harriet is making a prediction. She said Zephyr and Cosmic were so hot during their hospital stay that she suspects it's their wedding, and he is out of the household, so big wedding vibes. I'm going to say no, because if it's 5 years later, they're probably already married. They're not going to wait 5 years.
We shall see. Yeah, it's very unlikely for them to wait 5 years. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got a barking dog who's telling me somebody's here. And we're almost out of time. We've got a few more minutes. Does anybody have any final questions for Vera?
Any sexy related Amrevet Day questions? But this is what this is about.
I'm not seeing anything coming up in chat, so.
Let's see. I'm looking at chat, see if we have anything.
Okay. Will we learn why they named their children the way they did? She was curious why Gordon was the only sibling referred to.
You will get some of things, because at that point, at the end of Survive, it's already a done deal. So that will be explained in the book of everything, because the book of everything does reflect quickly over what happened in those 5 years and then goes on. So yeah, you should get that. And you may get some of it in Amrevet Days. It's possible. So, but I have not decided. That's something I have not decided yet, because we haven't done that yet. We haven't talked about it, because there's gonna be it's only one baby so far, remember? So we can't give you the future things, but yeah, one baby makes perfect sense for why she was called the way she was. So.
Well, yeah, I agree.
The first baby, the most, to honor mom and, to honor basically whoever for Gwen, that was like the most important thing. And of course to, honor the past.
All right, Vera, I think we can call this an evening well spent. It's been
I think
a
so.
pretty long day.
Yes.
We do have one final session. That will start
At 10:15.
thank you,
Yeah. It's the fan chat.
which will be our final fan chat for the evening. And we'll
Oh,
just,
that's right. The fan chat is where you guys want to tell us what you liked about the day. So this is important. We want to hear what you like, what you would like to see more of for the future. Just give us your ideas. So that's what that is for.
okay. Thank you, Vera.
Thank
We've
you.
learned something. You've made us anticipate more, as always.
Definitely.
More is coming in every sense of the
And
word.
we will hopefully we will see most of you in the fan chat.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye. Take care.